So I've got these 4 pieces cut and mitered. They're going to be the shape of the barrel of the urn. Got it. I want some accent pieces running up the corners. That takes care of the fact that the corners aren't going to miter together all that well. Give me a feature. I'll also be picking up the same colored wood for a 2-inch thick base at the bottom of it, and then a trim, and then incorporate that into the top also. So these are my 2 woods. Makes sense. So I've got this thing set together like that. Makes sense. You see where I'm going. These are my glue joints. I'll probably use epoxy glue. You don't have to squeeze it so hard. And I'll probably color it. I'll tint it dark red, which is what these will be. It'll make a nice little match for the color so you won't see the glue. Because one of the things about epoxy is it's about the thickest of the glues that we use. And it takes the longest to set of most of the glues that I use, unless you really cook it up, which I don't. So I'm always worried about it migrating, so I thicken it even more so I can get a thick film. Anyway, all that said, takes care of that epoxy. But in the process of doing this thing, I don't want these things to drift in. Just setting this little mock up, you can see that this one's drifted in. I want to have the clamps on these 4 pieces and have these 4 pieces just sort of floating around in there, but not floating too much. So I'm going to make some discs to fit inside that these 4 pieces will touch and will never float in too far. That's the dream. I thought I'll make a circle, which ultimately will work, but these are too thick at the moment, so I'm going to have to lop off 4 flat spots to make this work. But that's not a problem. So I need another disc. I need one at the top, one at the bottom. 3 1/4 inch is what I'm looking for. And let's get all this right. So I've got this lathe. Let's go make it round on the lathe. So I've got this little stump that I've stuck on the end of my lathe. And I'll put this block, which I've pre-drilled a couple of holes in. Little stump is, I don't even know what. I think it's pine. Alright, so there are my 2 holes. Hopefully this will work out. Although if it has a flat spot in it, it turns out that's not going to be a problem. Let's see what we can do. Not completely, but mostly round. Like I said, I'm not really concerned about the last one. I've got 3 1/2, so it's good for guessing. I can guess pretty well. 3 1/2. It's an 8. Ah, beautiful, 3 1/4. All right, yank that, and now I should be able to make 4 little square flats on this, and then this will serve as my spacer. That'll be great. And I'll hang on to that in case I need to do another foolish thing like this again. All right, moving along. Okay, so here we are. I've started this thing up. I'm all set to glue this. I've got all the pieces that I need. I've got some epoxy I've mixed up, a couple of squirts. I'm using West System epoxy. It comes with its own metering system, some proportion, and truthfully I don't know. I get a gallon and a quart at the time, so it looks like it's a 1 in 5 or 4 to 1 or some damn thing. Who knows? Anyway, I've got some cotton flour, and I've got some gloves, because you know what's going to happen next, right? Look at us go. Look at us go. All right, so now I've got a brush. That's good. I've got some tint. Doesn't take much. I can get more on me usually than I get in the glue. Glue is now red. All right, so that's the drill here. That's what I'm doing. I've got a brush. I've got 3 squirts. We'll see how far I get with 3 squirts. I mean, how the heck do you know, right? I never know. Every time I do this, it's different somehow. So, I'm a both sides sort of guy. This is not a lot of pressure. I want some sort of wetted surface. That's what this is about, wetted surface. Now this is ultimately going to be a 1/2 inch thick, which means about 60% of what I'm putting on just doesn't matter. But you can't start out that way. So there's that. You don't have to. Now, nice thing about the wetted surface technique is you don't have to. You have to put it on very thick. You know you've got it. You saw I put some cotton flour in. That means that no matter how hard you squeeze it, there'll still be some glue in the joint because cotton flour has thickness. I mean, it's not heavy. It also means that the stuff won't sag really easily. I mean, it can still. I've not done out the math, but I'm going to guess that this is going to go from about the middle to the outside edge and then back to the middle. So the lower corner on the outside and the middle on the inside doesn't matter. But this, no time to be thinking about that. And it looks like, right at the moment, looks like 3 squirts of the main constituent. I don't even know. The resin, right? Not the hardener. Looks like 3 squirts of the resin is going to be enough. Just looking in the pot here. I've taken the liberty to get a little teeny bit ahead. And I've got some detail pieces, some little strips, octagonally cut strips that I'm going to do. 'Cause some of this is going to be what we'll call segmented turning. That's what I believe right now. So look at me go. Love to stop and chat, but I think I'm half done. Good. Okay, I could have remembered my alignment thing. I just realized I'm turning these things around and not thinking about how I'm doing this. And arrow that way. Arrow that way. Oh yeah, I've done all right. Arrow that way. Good. It wouldn't be the end of the world, but just it's what I've been thinking I was going to do. So my 45-degree miters are looking pretty good last time I checked them. I assume with glue smeared in between these pieces, they'll work out and look pretty darn good. I don't care, the glue joints could be a little bit big in places, but I don't care because I have colored glue. Pretty cool. Yeah. All right, now I've got, it turns out, excess glue. So I think I'm going to take just a minute and walk through the pieces. Just put a little bit more on now that I know I've got it. Insurance, right? Come on. Come on. Wow. Kind of clingy. Come on. Wow, wouldn't come off. I guess that means I've got enough. All right. Cool. All right, that's all set to go. Now, it's together time. I don't want the floodwood pieces sticking out. It's just a lot of things. So, bands. I'm gonna do a quick sawdust. I don't want to take the gloves off, get it all over the tools, you know, that sort of thing. So, there, sawdust, all good. So this is my bands, and there's that one. This one will be the bottom one. Get a little start on tightening it. That's a start. I've got quite a ways I can go. Spin this. Okay, that's going to be that. Good. And now I'll get this upper one on. I've had this all together, not completely and clearly not with glue, but I've done a pre-assembly. Trying to make sure I don't screw things up royally. I mean, you got to screw them up a little bit, I guess. You discover stuff that way. All right, this is looking fine. Now I've got some little spacers because I don't want the. See what's happening? This is wandering in. I don't want that to happen. So I've got some little spacers that I've made in a previous episode. And they sort of, oh, that's fitting. Now I'm going to drive that down to the bottom. So I've made two. That's the part that I didn't want to have happen. All right, got it, got it, got it, that's good. Now another one I'm going to put at the top. And I wish I knew why it seems different every time, but it does. Oh yeah. Now, these will come out. Hopefully there's, I won't say no glue on them, but very little glue. All right, so now that's done. So those push the pieces out to the reasonably close to the edge. And now I can do some more tightening. All right. Now I'm going to throw some clamps on, more sawdust. Clean my hands. Okay, I didn't think this part through. I'll be right back. All right, here we are. What didn't I think through? I didn't think through how I was going to clamp these two parts. I could do the centers, but I didn't know how I was going to do this. So I think, will I do it like that? Two clamps, I can put them on the sides. I'll do it like that. All right. There's no point while this is all juiced up. There's no point in not lining up all of the pieces up and down. So to do that, come on. There we go. Get a nice flat piece of melamine coated material at the bottom and some plywood at the top with some, I got wax paper on the bottom parts and polyethylene on the top. So now these will all go down. Down is good. And now I can do the last of the tightening. They're pretty tight. I think that's it. So now if things are right, the top and bottom are smooth. I cut these pieces nice and as square as I can. So this should chuck up it, because this is going on the lathe, and I've got bunches of wood here. I don't have endless of amount, so I need to keep it in control. If I let it swing, tip, then I lose some. Okay. I'm thinking that that's pretty good. I'm thinking that's pretty good. All right. Good. This is glued. Now, what you don't know is I've got two more pieces that I cut up and I'd like to glue together. And I don't have quite enough glue to do that, so I'm going to mix a little bit more glue right now and then rush over and try to get two more pieces. Be right back. Okay, so here we are. I did a little mock-up. I decided I would put two more clamps on, so I got another stick and two more clamps. So I think I'm all set. Place is a mess. Please, it's just a mess. Don't live like this if you can help it. All right, so effing frustrating thing. I would have these little plates are 1/2 inch. The problem is the band clamps are about 9/16 right at the knuckle. So I needed to put some spacers in. Anyway, so that's what happened. Okay, so spacers. Wax paper will happen on top of the spacer. This is banded and tightened. Not tightened endlessly, but it's tightened some. And there's that. I am going to now flip this all over. Got them in cute little pairs. It's great. And now, wax paper. Because without that, this whole thing goes completely to hell. This needs to go at the bottom. Needs wax paper on it also. I got it. One piece of wax paper. Got it. Said, okay, this is part of it. I didn't do this part. I did the rest of the setup, but I didn't do the wax paper. Now I know. Okay, all good. So, Little bits of tape help a great deal in alignment. I use a tape kind of a trick. I use a lot more tape than you'd think. Okay, that's that. I did not need anywhere near the amount of glue that I mixed up, but there it is. So now that's in like that. I'll put this band on it. Hopefully I still can. Sawdust so I don't get everything covered. Okay, that's good. Now, okay, now this is going to have a tendency to lift, whatever. That's going to go away real soon. There. That's there. Now, piece of plywood. And I get the plywood's about the size of the disc, and then I knocked 2 little flat spots on it to take care of the fact that those knuckles are just a little bit. All right, so now wax paper. I don't want to wake up tomorrow and find things glued together. All right, this is very much like the other, but it's you can see that it's actually a little bit different. All right, and this is taped also. This is going to be the floor of the inside of the urn. So it needs to be, run up to being solid. Cool. I can't say that I've really thought this whole thing through. I've got a couple of spots in it that I've thought about. Hopefully that will carry me through the things like, geez, I don't know. I wasn't thinking of that. Anyway, hope the tape comes off at some point. You're never sure. That looks great. More. I'm going to do wax paper right now. Just that. Wow, that from here looks real good. Okay, so now just another piece of plywood because I can. I'm going to turn that slightly this way. Fine. Then I'm going to put this, I got another piece here. This is going to go on like that. I'll put these 2 on. And then throw some clamps on. Stuck on something here. That'll do. great. All right. All that glue is now squeezing in every damn direction. All right, so that, as awful as it was, is done. Glued. There'll be more. I've got pieces for the base to do. Then it'll all have to get glued to that piece that's going to become the barrel. Got this right here, which I think is going to be the reinforcement to the floor at the bottom of the barrel. I can't turn this to the sides till I know the size of the inside of the barrel. There's some stuff that's going to have to wait. But all in all, this moves the project along, and you know, there's no looking back. So check the clamps. It's Miller time. See you tomorrow.